Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Active Reload. Indiana Jones is out. I'm joined by Grant, by the way. That's Grant Urey.
That's me.
I'm James Timberlake. I don't think we've introduced our names in a long time. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk some Indiana Jones first impressions. It's a big day, big week for games. Indiana Jones is out.
Yeah.
I don't remember his real name, but Indiana's not his real name. But the game's out.
It's Junior. So
There's
what's his father's name?
I don't remember.
Dang it.
He's in Temple or the Lost Crusade. Yeah, Last Crusade. I don't remember his Sean Connery. That's his dad's name.
Yeah, Sean.
There's also an Indiana Jones like kids TV show, like they did James Bond Jr. back in the day. I don't know if you remember that.
It's terrible.
But James Bond was his uncle, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's talk some Indiana Jones. First impressions. It's a machine games game.
Yeah.
I am hoping that this is a jumping off point for the next Wolfenstein game.
Yeah,
this is how they're going to start it.
The whole time I was playing, at least in the part where it's not the intro, I was like, "Wait, man, this would be really cool if I had a lot more guns and a lot of people were shooting at me."
Yeah, if I could experience this as BJ Blazkowicz with machine gun and a combat axe or something, I'd love it. And well, here's the thing. Okay, actually, let's preface it by saying this. I think Indiana Jones is great. So far, as far as we've gotten. Okay. Yeah. As far as I've gotten, I've liked it a lot so far.
Highly polished.
It's got very well polished, especially in today's world, to see that is the game that they've come out with. Bethesda published too, by the way.
Yep. But then again, it's on the id Tech 5, I think. So the Doom Eternal engine. Yeah. Where it seems to run well on everything.
It does. I saw a clip where it runs 60 frames on Series X and Series S, which is pretty impressive given today's world.
Yeah, let's talk about the specs in a second, though, because I have some gripes with.
Okay. Overall, though, I think the game itself, I think they did like Troy Baker has done a really good job. I think they kind of
might be his best.
They gave him like a really difficult task. I think trying to sound similar to Harrison Ford enough to where the face scan doesn't seem jarring when you're playing the game, and I think he does a really good job. I think he sells it enough. There are times where Troy Baker kind of comes out a little bit, but for the most part, like even in some of the stuff where he's like falling into things, he sounds like Harrison Ford a little bit.
The inner monologue stuff too, when he speaks out loud.
The people that made it clearly had some sort of love for Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's true.
And I think that's very cool.
I would also say I'm going to compare it to another company that makes love letter games. The Teon, they did RoboCop and the Terminator games, and you could tell that every minute detail. They were like, oh, they've watched RoboCop a million times. Right. It feels the same. Yeah, same amount of love went into it, except for probably a little bit more talented, a lot more money.
Yeah. And overall, I think they did. They made it unique in a way that they had to for Indiana Jones to kind of stick out, I think, and not being compared to just another Uncharted game, if that makes sense. Because Indy invented Uncharted, but then Uncharted invented the game version of Indy, if that makes sense.
Also, you got Tomb Raider in there too.
Tomb Raider too. Yeah, that's a good point.
There was a part in the very beginning when you're climbing and he's slow climbing. I was like, I'm glad that he's not jumping like Nathan Drake.
You're not Nathan Draking it. Yeah, you feel very cumbersome as you're climbing up stuff But
I could tell they were like, well, this will be a Nathan Drake thing.
Right. He's built like an archaeology professor at a college. So that's how he climbs. Not very fast or experienced or anything like that. Yeah. He just climbs well, and he's got a cool bullwhip.
Very, very good sound effects with that bullwhip and the punches. Very satisfying sound.
The sound design in this game is awesome. Every punch feels like it has a really cool impact. The bullwhip sounds are amazing. They're loud and echoey. It sounds really, really cool.
So a lot of machine games came from, I would say most of them came from Starbreeze Studios, who did Riddick, that Cyberpunk game. Yeah. Not Cyberpunk, but another, I forgot what it's called.
Cyberpunky style game.
Can't remember what it's called. Very good. The Darkness. A lot of games that have melee inspired combat. Now it feels like Riddick, but just a step above, like an evolution of Riddick when it comes to the melee. And so it feels really good. These guys are super talented. And you said you want them to go back to Wolfenstein. I would like them to make something new.
Brand new. Well, that's the thing. I want them to make something new as well. But Wolfenstein's not done. Like, the story isn't completed yet. They haven't completed that story. I want them to wrap that up before they move on to something else. I'm a little scared at this point that they're not going to get that opportunity because I think Indiana Jones is going to perform very well, and they're going to be asked basically immediately to probably make another one, which wouldn't surprise me either.
This is a LucasArts, right?
Yes.
Disney doesn't have any attachment to
George
Indy?
Lucas. Yeah. Well, because George Lucas still, I think, owns the properties of Indy, but that's it.
I know Spielberg owns something in there.
Yeah,
too.
there's a connection to it somehow. I think they did a very good job. It's a very faithful creation and new entry into the Indiana Jones mythos, if you will.
Sure.
We haven't beaten it yet.
No, I'm only like 5 hours in.
Yeah, I'm not entirely. I'm probably a little bit farther than you are.
I will say that I have gone and looked at everything.
Yeah.
Once I got to the museum, which is after the intro and the tutorial, I just started reading everything. I love Indiana Jones a lot.
Same.
And so I'm taking it all in. It's really good. It feels I don't know if this is probably just me because I took so long to get to where I'm at, but I'm ready for some more action, and hopefully it'll give it to me soon because I'm aching for some action.
Yeah. I think that the worst thing that they could have done for this game is made an unfaithful Indiana Jones game and just slapped the Indiana Jones title on it. Wolfenstein in Indiana Jones. That would have been bad. Nobody would have wanted that. Nobody would have liked that. I do think there are some things that aren't great. And I don't know if you've gotten to it yet, but the companion AI is very shaky. It leaves a lot to be desired, especially stealth-wise.
So the stealth, it all works well. It's just when you see an enemy just stand and look at a wall for 30, 40 seconds without moving, it makes me want to take them and put them in front of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Like, when you play that game, which is 20 years old, when you're like watching them do their routes, they stop and they pause, and then you have to keep watching because they will do something else. And this one, they stay still for a very long time. So and they're like, are they going to move yet? And then
they're not looking at anything.
They basically are just waiting for you to attack them in the back.
They might as well have a big light over their, like on their head or something that says, "Hey, come attack us."
Yeah. So
we're open for assassination or whatever.
It makes me. So Deus Ex is another really good stealth game / shooter. When you're doing stealth in there, you can do stealth around everybody. This one you can't because everybody stays still. So once you get past them without killing them, you're going to be in their line of sight. They don't really have much of a route. They just wait for you to hit them. It's okay. It's still visceral. I do like when you hit them and they fall in a chair and the chair breaks.
The chair breaks. Yeah. The physics for that stuff is
it's
cool.
Really cool, very polished,
especially after, like, if you get into a fight too and you get the really like nice hit on a punch and it sounds good, and then the table breaks that they fall onto. It's awesome. It sounds so cool.
That's another leads me into the melee combat is a little too easy.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I would say if you're going to jump into this game, two things I would say. One, put the difficulty a little higher than like the medium one. You'll probably be okay just playing on a higher difficulty. Two, and I cannot believe they'll probably patch this because I'm blown away that this exists. Go into your audio settings and change them. For whatever reason, they thought it was a good idea to put the in-game volume, music volume to 100 and all the voice volumes to like 80.
Oh, I did that already.
Switch that around. It doesn't make any sense. I want to hear everything.
It's all dependent on your sound system too.
That's true. Yeah. But for whatever reason, that's the default mix that they chose. Well, and I was like, what?
So when I fought a bunch of people in the Vatican area, I fought about 60 people, and I was just punching them. They were falling on top of each other, and they really react when they fall on top of each other funny. So they fall funny. It looks hilarious, but then it'll crash your whole system because there's way too many physics going on at the same time. Also, this guy came up to me with a gun. He's holding a Mosin gun, I believe. It's a long rifle. And he didn't want to shoot me, so he was looking at his gun and he threw his gun at me.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. There are a lot of little touches in this game that are hilarious and well thought out. Now, another big gripe I have, the FOV. I noticed it right away.
True.
Now we're playing on monitors, so this is a little different. But the FOV field of view is way too narrow, and there's no slider. And I hate that. But there is a cinematic mode where it puts it in ultra widescreen. And that seems to adjust the FOV very wide to about 110 degrees, which is 20 degrees more than I like it.
Yeah.
It would be fine on my big screen TV, though.
Yeah, if you're playing on a TV, just play on the widescreen. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But so now everything's a little too fisheye, or it's a little too far away, especially when I'm trying to read through glass in the museum. I had to switch it back to the normal mode so I can just read and then switch it back. This might be just a me problem, but I think you need an FOV slider. People playing this on PC, they don't care. I guarantee there's an FOV slider on that. But on console, you got to add one, man. If you're going to make a very narrow field of view, just give us an option.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just have an option in there for that. It is odd to do a widescreen game like that, but also have it in first person.
Yep.
I don't think that happens very often in terms of a story-based widescreen game like that. And
I've never seen a cinematic mode like that.
No, I haven't either. And obviously they did that because it's Indiana Jones. It's a movie.
I take that back. What is that? The Shinji Mikami game, that not Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, Evil Within.
Evil Within. They made a forced cinematic view where it's ultra widescreen, and then they adjusted it to where you can swap it.
I was going to say flushed away the video game on 3DS.
Yeah,
but that's probably not
on 3DS.
That's probably not right. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good game. There are another like quick gripe that I have with it would be one of the people you kind of come in contact with in terms of like you start to. They're essentially a companion as far as I am into the game.
Don't tell me though.
I won't tell you. I won't tell you who it is, obviously. It doesn't feel like they have the best chemistry in the world in terms of characters. Like they're together and I'm like, it doesn't feel like they would actually be together on this adventure. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Or on this mission or whatever, you know,
does it seem forced?
Yeah, a little bit. It does seem a little bit forced, which I don't love, especially when you put whoever it is next up to another, because I just got to this part, up to another character. And I'm being specific here, not all the characters, but one specific character that you meet a little bit later on. So yeah, no, sorry. But there's another her that you meet, and you're like, I want to travel with her. She seems cool. I want to be with her and travel around with her because she seems like she'd be fun.
Is she prettier? Is that what you're thinking?
It's not even. No, it's not even a looks thing. It's just like the personality is a lot more like outspoken and interesting. If that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to go moving forward. I think the mystery of it is very interesting. I think it's going to be very cool story wise. I don't really know kind of what's going to happen. They've like touched on some very interesting ideas and whatnot.
I like the idea of giants and the Nephilim and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're very clearly going in the direction. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. I like it so far.
So it's biblical, at least like Last Crusade, and also like the Aliens one.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. So it's almost
we don't talk about that one.
Yeah, I know that story's not very good, but it is a mix between Nephilim, which is in the Bible, and also in alien mythology too.
Shout out to my friend Cole. He loves Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and I told him, I was like, I guess we all love something bad.
It'd be a really cool Disneyland ride.
That's not a
like if it was an on rails Disneyland ride, it'd be interesting.
You know, that's be cool Mummy or cool Disney ride, the Mummy movie. I mean, that doesn't really mean a lot.
It doesn't work as a movie. It's just the bad girl.
It's bad. Yeah, the Kate Blanchett. Yeah, the whole thing is not
terrible.
The CG gophers and the CG ants and everything. That was like a bad time for CG too, because they were like, we can CG everything. We don't need to do bad. We don't need to do live stuff anymore.
I really like Starbreeze, and I'm glad that they're doing something other than quarter shooting, which I really like, But I'm glad they're going with more of an adventure.
Yeah.
Like Riddick and
this feels like it could be like the thing that kind of, I mean, obviously it would make perfect sense, but fills the void that Uncharted kind of had for those adventure story games. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense for that to fill that because they're basically the same thing. But it'd be great to see if they make more like these. I would be okay with as long as this continues to be as good as it is.
You know what I was thinking of when I was playing though? When I was in the Vatican running around talking to people. Oh, by the way, before I get into the story, I'm going to tell you something I don't really like. We mentioned it. They hold your hand a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then not enough sometimes. Yeah. So when I put on an outfit to blend in, I didn't know that I needed to be sneaking around. I just assumed, I assumed that I'm fitting in, but some people recognize you as being an outsider, not allowed in here. So they come after me. Right. I was like, wow, I wish I would have known that.
There are
ruined a lot. There was a big checkpoint too. I lost about 15, 20 minutes.
And the other thing is too, they have like a really good tutorial mission, which is it's the first scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. For those of you that don't know, that's the whole tutorial mission. Yeah. But it doesn't teach you everything you need to know.
You also jump in the water too.
And you also, true. Yeah.
You can go a lot of places. There's not a lot of invisible walls. I was just playing a bunch of games with invisible walls and now I'm like free. So it's kind of cool.
I'm breaking free.
What I was going to say about what I thought of when I first started playing this game, Tomb Raider. I was thinking about Tomb Raider in first person. It's like, man, they did this game in first person. Like you can really do a Tomb Raider in first person. I mean, maybe she won't be such a great fighter and punch people and stuff, but she's
got bow and arrow though.
Got bow and arrow and some guns and dual weapons. Like that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, they did this is a really bad example, but they did they did Far Cry Primal. Oh, that's all bow and arrow and stuff. And clubs. You could do that for Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Who makes Tomb Raider? Eidos or
Crystal Dynamics. Yeah. They stopped. I mean, they finished that trilogy though. I don't think they're going to go back to Tomb Raider for a while. I could be wrong though. I don't know. We'll see. They're making a TV show.
Oh God. Is it Sony produced?
Probably. Sony's like, hey, we're good at making movies. Let's make a TV show and a movie.
I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so is there anything else you want to say about?
No, it's great. I'm
highly
excited.
Recommend it.
Yes, highly recommend. Play it. It's free on Game Pass.
It's not free.
Whatever. It's downloadable on Game Pass. Go and get it on Game Pass. Download it. Have fun. It's a monster game. It's and 130 gigs for some reason.
Yeah. It is a big game. There's a lot of things.
It runs well. So I'll give it
really well. And it also, I'm going to give it props for a Game Pass coming out on day one and actually working.
Yeah, true.
Thanks, Microsoft.
Runs well.
Sort of backhanded compliment.
Yeah. Thanks, Microsoft. I actually love you though. Thank you. Give me Game Pass for free. I'll love you forever.
Yeah, you can write it off. We have a podcast.
I don't think that's how that works.